Hi, my name is Lacey Beaty, and I'm running to be Beaverton's next mayor. For those of you who don't know me, know this. I've been the leader who asks the hard questions, who isn't afraid to stand alone and fight for what's right and fair. And I've stepped up and done the right thing when others didn't. That's why I'm running for mayor now. Most recently, when the coronavirus hit our state, it was me who called upon my colleagues to pass the moratorium on evictions. I did this to prevent more homelessness and keep people healthy. I also supported the release of city grant funds to help small businesses with rent or mortgage payments, and I'll address that further in a minute. Regarding housing and homelessness, a priority issue that we're all going to need to stay focused on as we're able to help small businesses get up and running following the reopening of our economy. I fought against discriminatory policies that didn't solve our housing crisis and instead spent time and energy fighting for the regional housing bond, which passed with overwhelming support from the voters in the Tri-County area. I opposed big developments that were all wrong for Beaverton. Now, don't get me wrong, not all developments are bad, but hotels in the wrong places do nothing to increase housing affordabilities for families. Instead, my priority has been on the redevelopment of downtown areas to support more small businesses. And I stood and alone and fought against the city's opposition to paid family medical leave. Because as a working parent, I know that families need it. I was the only local official to drive to Salem and testify in support of the bill's passage. And if it weren't for opposition all those years ago, it would be in place today, helping families during a pandemic when we need it most. As mayor, I will expand access to healthcare. I know how to bridge the gaps in our healthcare system. And with Beaverton being one of the most medically underserved areas in all of Washington County, I alone have the experience to work with the state and county to close those healthcare gaps. I will focus on the next steps in affordable housing. I supported the regional measure to create more housing for mental health and addiction treatment, and I will lead the discussion moving away from big security deposits for renters to an insurance-based program to save renters money. I will continue to advocate for local and regional investments that will improve, not worsen, our traffic. It was me who fought for and secured the largest investment in sidewalks in 20 years. And finally, as someone who works with our youth, as serving on Home Plate's Youth Plate Home Services Board of Directors, and as a lacrosse coach for over a decade, I know how important jobs are to young people, and I will expand workforce development programs to prepare more young people for jobs coming ahead. My leadership is what Beaverton families need, and I invite you to support my campaign and to be a partner. Going back to your question about recovery and how WEA can work with me, I offer you this. Our recovery is going to be a continual cycle of assessing the need of small businesses and workers, identifying the gaps, and responding accordingly. And it's not just going to involve the city. The gaps are going to have to be addressed by the state and federal government as well. There are a number of funding streams that have opened up to help small businesses and workers, and it hasn't been enough. We need more to make it happen. I invite you into the assessment, gap, identification, and response cycle that will lead, and I will lead to come together to reopen and build our economy that all depend on us. Look, the current mayor has been elected for nearly 30 years, and Beaverton families can't wait any longer for the status quo to shift their direction. It's time to demand it. Given the coronavirus crisis has exposed our already deep gaps in our system, Beaverton needs a leader that is willing to take action to fix them when we emerge. I'm the candidate for mayor you can trust to act. It's what I've always done and what I'll continue to do.